Hello.
Hello, Andre.
Hey, Shannon, what's up?
I say this with a heavy heart, but Netflix made a horrible decision and they canceled the OA. So I just don't understand why I'm alive anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I read something of yours. Oh, actually, you had me sign a petition to revive the show.
Okay, I wasn't sure if
So,
I sent it to you. I was gonna send it to you again.
no, you did send it to me, and I did sign it.
Have your whole family sign it.
Because I'm a good friend like that. I will. I'll spread the word.
Yeah, you are a good friend, just so everyone knows.
um. So, okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to Scary Talk, episode 30. Can you believe that? 30 episodes.
She's 30, she's flirty, and she's
I like that. I'm gonna use that when I'm 30. Which
just for the credit. That's from 13 going on 30. Very
okay.
paraphrased, but
Well, I would know that, but I watched that in Spanish growing up because I lived in Mexico, so it probably translated into some corny shit that didn't sound well at all. Um, boy, one of these days I'm gonna talk to you about like the Spanish translations of movie titles. They're vile. Anyway. Hi everyone, episode 30. Welcome. We are talking Missing 411 Part 2. Because last we spoke about this, we had a lot still left to say, and so we would like to cover some of that.
yeah, no one asked for it, but here it is.
I asked for it.
That's fair.
Okay. Do you want me to lead the way? Do you want to lead us?
I want you to lead me into the forest and have Bigfoot take me.
Do you want me to lead you into the forest and have you murdered?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, um, okay. There's a couple theories that I want to talk about. The first one, so recap for those of you who don't remember. 2 episodes ago, we were talking about the hollow Earth theory. The hollow Earth theory. Oh my god, I just spoiled it. My brain is somewhere else. We were talking about missing 411, and
Oh.
um, what it
Basically,
is
Hollow
basically.
Earth, guys.
Shut up. Basically, what it is people have been disappearing in international forests for a long time, but like even more so recently at kind of an alarming rate, and also the circumstances around their disappearances are always really bizarre. And we went over a number of theories for why this could be happening and what could be causing it. What did we mention? We said like it could be government conspiracy theory. I have another one of those, by the way, for this episode. We mentioned, well, I know I mentioned mermaids, and I mentioned fairies, and we mentioned Bigfoot, and we said like interdimensional portals.
Yeah, I
Because
think that was basically it.
yeah, because like people just going missing just because they're just go missing. It's kind of a boring episode, so we had to go with fairies and portals. Now, listen up, everyone. I have some more fairies and portals for you this time, basically. And the first of those is the theory of the hollow Earth. So I went back on the missing. Oh, by the way, I was gonna say that I went back on the missing 411 subreddit for more theories, but also I did go on YouTube and search missing 411 like you told me, and boy, those comments, you were not lying.
They're good.
They're good. Yeah, I mean they're kind of loud, but they're good. A lot of these people like recount their anecdotes just like so just like nothing like that. I mean, I don't know if I would share such a serious anecdote on a YouTube comment, but a lot of these people are legit. Like my grandpa got abducted by Bigfoot, just like on a YouTube comment of a video titled like "Missing 411." Like, is like, are the Greys doing it? Like, stay till the end in parentheses. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, hey, remember that video I sent you of the man who had that bad experience with the Bigfoot lady?
yes.
Do we think that that is a conspiracy? Do we think that's real?
I don't, just because I don't believe
I,
in Bigfoot.
oh, I didn't know that. For some reason, I just assumed that you did. So you're normally
No,
pretty,
for
like,
some reason you
down.
just assume that I believe in all things crazy because I'm crazy. Thank you, Shannon. No, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I think it's kind of I was gonna use the word dumb, but literally someone's gonna comment like, "Yeah, but you believe in fucking like shadow people, so shut up." And that's fair. That's honestly a fair comeback. I just think Bigfoot is kind of, I don't know, like it doesn't make scientific sense to me. I mean, not that a lot of
Hmm.
this other stuff does either that I do believe in, but I look, I'm just gonna say like, how many of them are there? Like, there's no way there can only be one, right? And that he's immortal because people have been talking about Bigfoot for like 200 years. So it has to be like a species, like probably
Yeah.
like an endangered species. But like, boy, are they hard to track. And also, how many of them are there? Like, what exactly do they do with people? It's not clear. So I just like I feel like every person that talks about Bigfoot has a different understanding or story of what they do, what they want, how they look, and so to me it doesn't square up in my mind.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
like it's not consistent. That's what I'm saying. Um, yeah. Now, okay. So anyway, yeah, YouTube goldmine. Back to this. Hollow Earth theory is the next theory that I want to talk about as far as a possible explanation for what could be happening here. Now, this one gets a little rabbit holey, so just hold on tight and listen. This person theorized that there could be billions of other humans on this planet hidden from us, underground, underwater, with basically like a law that prevents them from revealing themselves to us, quote unquote, primitive surface dwellers. So already this is very like, I don't know, it's giving me like Dark Engine vibes. I don't know why. Dark Engines, Mortal Engines vibes. Okay. So, the person theorizes that to reveal themselves would be to impose on our free will to believe that we are the only ones on this planet, which I don't know why they would be bothered by that. Like,
Right.
why would they not want to reveal that? Anyway, the person theorizes that there could be elites in our civilization that know of these people and try to keep them secret, and that there could be some personnel dedicated to carrying out false flag murders and abductions, so that if the breakaway civilization is ever revealed, our governments can justify hostility against them and justify secrecy for the sake of national security, or etc.
My
Thoughts?
tinfoil hat. My tinfoil hat is twitching. It doesn't know what to make of this.
It's a lot. I know. I know.
I don't know. That's pointing in a direction that I don't know. What's the word? It spiraled very fast.
It did. Oh, like, do you feel uncomfortable talking about it? Because it kind of reminds you of that, like, people who were like, the Sandy Hook, like, shooting was like, what's it called? A false flag attack, something like that?
Oh
Because
yeah.
that stuff does make me uncomfortable when people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Not
this
really
is,
appropriate.
I feel like this is way less rooted in reality, though, so I don't feel like out of place saying this stuff. Like, I mean, I guess it's possible. Personally, I don't believe in this hollow earth theory, but if it was plausible, I think this is definitely how it would go. I think this person made a
Really?
good. I think this person, yeah, I think if I thought it was possible, this is probably how it would go down in my head too. I think this person made a good job of like plotting it out. I mean, like if it, think about it, if it was possible, like what what would be the reason those
I
people
just
live there and we haven't found out about them yet? It would have to be the government.
no. I think that it might just be that like they just don't know about us either. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Well,
I
like, if someone
mean,
were to come up to you on the street and be like, Andre, did you know that you're actually inside of a planet and you're the hollow earth? You'd be like, you're crazy. What if it's just like that for them?
maybe, but like, I guess,
May-
yeah, I
Maybe
guess.
they're in like a little globe, like in that Simpsons movie.
You know what happens that when I think of Hollow Earth, I don't actually think of a Hollow Earth. I still picture the Earth having a core and these people just being very resistant to heat. Um, and so that's why it doesn't make sense to me because like if you're in that environment, everything's probably red and brown and dirt and fire, and so you know you're underground. But like when you read like Jules Verne, like the Hollow Earth looks nothing like that at all. Like basically in his fiction, like the core doesn't really exist, and like there is literally just another planet straight up inside our surface,
Hmm.
and so to them like it looks like they have a sky. So I
Yeah.
guess if it looks like that, then yeah, maybe they have no idea.
Yeah, we could also be on a turtle's back, you know? Like, there's infinite
Oh my god.
possibilities.
um. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Wait, so
anyway,
how does this tie into Missing 411?
because okay, here it is. Because this person theorizes that these people are like it connects to the portal ones as well. Like somehow people are traveling to this hollow earth by mistake through these portals that for some reason are there where they are, and like it's the hollow earthers that take care of them while they're gone. I mean, it's very far fetched, but I wanted to start with it because it's kind of like fascinating and interesting and funny. And that's why when the people come back, you know how they're always like fed and like they're always okay and they don't have scratches on them. Maybe it's because like wherever they go, there's something there taking care of them. And this person theorized. I mean, basically that's really where the connection ends. Like after that, it's all kind of just like it almost sounds like fiction. This person theorized, and maybe that place where they go is inside our own Earth. Um, which like is fair to honestly, it's fair to theorize that just because it does make more sense than the like interdimensional portals. I mean, I mean, kind of Hollow Earth is kind of a crazy idea, but I feel it makes more sense in the sense of like like it's still our Earth. They're not literally traveling to another dimension, which is kind of like a lot to think about. Um, so in that sense, I guess it kind of makes sense. Maybe they're not even portals. Maybe they're just holes to the center of the Earth. They just fall
Yeah, maybe
down.
they just fell.
That's
Wow.
far more plausible than like ethereal portals to different dimensions, I think.
Yeah.
But regardless, I don't believe in it. I just thought it would be super interesting to share. And yes, it did get dark. Um,
What if, that makes me think, what if these national parks are just like tests for like the future Hunger Games battlegrounds, and so like they have little trap doors, and so you think like, oh, they were there 1 second, but then someone like trapdoored the person and now they're gone.
um, uh, it's possible.
I mean, all overpopulation is a problem. I think our government could probably like do a Hunger Games. Like, if they were gonna do anything from fiction, I think they would probably do that.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So, another thing that I read on this subreddit that I thought was, well, this is just kind of like a side note that I thought was kind of like sad or touching. Someone said, I don't think they were talking about like the the interdimensional or multidimensional theory that people are going to different dimensions. One person said, I don't think there is one certain timeline or dimension that every missing person slips into. There are many, I would imagine. I like to think that if this is indeed what has happened, they at least end up in a friendly place where they can live on, even if they can't come back. And I thought that made me sad. I don't know why, because like I can picture like that sucks. But like hopefully at least they are in a good place. You know what I mean? Like maybe this isn't intentional at all. Like maybe there really aren't any creatures like taking people through portals anywhere. Maybe people are literally just like maybe like these portals are just results of glitches in the matrix and people are legit ass just like slipping into them through no intention or fault of anyone, and they just end up somewhere else. It's kind of crazy. Like, have you ever heard of that guy that said that he was like walking some like in a park some one day, and like he like slipped on a rock or something, and he woke up, and he was in the same place. No. I'm sorry. He wasn't in the same place. He woke up in a warehouse in a chair, and someone was approaching him and told him about like how the Beatles were still together and gave him like their latest album, and then he came back to our reality with that album and then uploaded it online, and you can listen to it right now.
I think that you told me that one time, actually.
Yeah. So like, I mean, some people think it's bullshit. Maybe it is, but like, like it could be a narrative like that. That's what I'm saying.
Why does that sound exactly or like similar to that new movie that just came out, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? No. That's about the cult people. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, it was Yesterday. The movie Yesterday. I think
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
kind of like that. I mean, really, you could make the you could make the theory that because basically in the movie, like a bus hits the guy, and when he wakes up, like the world has changed and no one remembers the Beatles. Um, I mean, in that movie it's a bus, but in the real world it could be Yeah, I mean, yeah, like maybe he did slip into a portal. You know what I mean?
Uh, yeah.
Maybe like because like you may like the movie makes you believe that it's the world that changed all of a
Mhm.
sudden, and he's still. But maybe he actually just went into a different dimension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, maybe. This reminds me, not like the Beatles, but something else you said about that guy's comment. I read a comment that said like, oh, like it's just a glitch in the matrix where like they're trying to delete files and they accidentally delete the person file, and so that person just disappears and is wiped from the drive.
That is
And
so fucked up.
yeah.
Can you imagine? And like that little kid, and the mom's just like filled with misery and pain for the rest of her life because someone clicked the wrong button.
Oh my god.
That's what I think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Next theory. It's the fucking aliens, dude. You know we're gonna have to get to this at some point.
We love
Um,
aliens.
okay, like it was gonna happen. It's happening. It's the aliens. So why is it the aliens? Okay, there's a couple reasons. Some people talk about how um, not only have like some people talk about how people don't go missing just in national parks, but a lot
Uh-huh.
of them, especially recently, apparently there's been an uptick in people disappearing near ranch areas, and along with the disappearances come a lot of cattle mutilations, and so people are trying to like put those dots together. They know that like traditionally, in like the I don't know the alien narrative, like cattle mutilations connects to UFOs visiting, just like crop circles do, and people, and if people are disappearing around the same time these mutilations take place, that's why people are being like, maybe this whole missing 411 thing is actually aliens. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, so cow mutilations. They on like when sites that people go missing, like hours or days later, there are cases of people who find like cattle mutilated there with like advanced surgical scars or like organs removed, like no blood. Um, they find like cattle that was like dropped from heights like post mortem, and again this is in like the sites where people like very recently just went missing all of a sudden. um it's all very fucking strange if you ask me. So
Yeah.
that's something. I don't know. Anyway, there's also like the crop circles. um Apparently there is like there are like how people are without shoes a lot of times when they go missing,
Yeah.
when they're found. Okay, so apparently a lot of shoes have been found around crop circles.
Oh, really?
Just like random ass shoes.
Interesting.
um so what the fuck. And also like in sites where people have gone missing, the witnesses report that like very soon, like moments after it happened, that they realized that their loved one was missing. They saw like glowing orbs or like balls of like lightning. Um, so like people are just trying their best to connect it to something. Like I can't blame them for saying aliens because like it's the most logical thing when you like take all those things into consideration. I'm still not super convinced though. Not because like this isn't convincing in itself, just because it's not more convincing than say the portals. Um, so I'd still stick with that. I don't know. What do you think about the aliens?
Well, I can think of like a rational explanation for the shoes like next to crop circles. It's like if like and this is assuming they're fake crop circles, you're smashing and bending the corn stalks. So maybe their shoes just got stuck like in like that weave, you know what I mean? Like that would suck.
I mean, how often does that
Um
happen?
I don't know. I've never tried to make a crop circle. But I have worked in a corn maze, and yeah, things get weird in there. Um,
Interesting. Hmm.
yeah. The orbs, though, like a lot of the people went missing when it was thundering and raining, so that wouldn't surprise me if they like saw light. However, I will say that I am standing the alien theory, and here is why, if I can remember why. Oh, here's why. Okay, so when you were talking, you mentioned the correlation between the crop circles and the shoes, and even though I just said that there's a logical explanation, let's assume there isn't. So what about this theory? What if the crop circles are made as like, I don't want to say like a magic spell because that doesn't make sense, but like maybe it's like some sort of conjuring to like abduct someone remotely. And so like they do the crop circle, right? And then like that person is like taken. I don't know. Like, so maybe instead of the crop circle being just like weird art that aliens leave, it's actually just the mark of an abduction happening.
Damn, that's good. I mean, I
But
don't
I
know.
don't know.
That would explain why some of the crop circles, like the Arecibo crop circle, are so intricate and look like they're deliberately trying to send a message. That doesn't explain that. But I mean, it's interesting. So thank you for bringing
Maybe
that
some
up.
of them are different. Maybe some are just to send a message. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Now this one. Okay. So Hollow Earth theory, aliens. Now we're back onto government conspiracy theory, but it's different than the last one that I spoke about. So basically, I was saying last time how it could be that the government knows that these things are happening, but they have no idea how to deal with them, and so they just kind of ignore them. We're
Yeah.
basically gonna like flip that on its head and say that the missing people are actually linked to some kind of government black ops slash human research, like fucked up experiment, possibly involving cloaking technology. Just a little cherry on
Oh
top.
my gosh.
So again, this is from the subreddit. I mean, literal fucking gold mine. Because I mean, the theories are just they're out there, and I love that some of them are so implausible because it doesn't matter. You know, like you just throw. I mean, like this whole missing 411 phenomenon is literally so unexplainable that I think you should just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because you never know. Maybe that will be the answer. It could be something so crazy that we just haven't thought of. So I like these crazy theories. Anyway, someone said that they understand the paranormal aspects of the missing 411 theories, but that they really are kind of adamant on being able to find a theory that is rooted in real life and nothing paranormal. Not that paranormal is in real life, but anyway. And he mentioned, like, could it be that government organizations are snatching people through the use of extremely secret technology, maybe cloaking technology? Question mark. Like, maybe that would explain. I think maybe that would explain how, for example, when like moms have their kids by their side and they say that the fucking kids go missing in a literal blink of an eye. Like, what the fuck? Like, maybe it's not an actual portal, but rather someone who's basically using like the Harry Potter like blanket of invisibility like invisibility cloak, and like and like kind of
Yeah.
like creeping up to the back and then like grabbing this kid, like like covering their hand, like their mouth with their hand, and now they're under the cloak as well, so the kid can't be seen either, and that's it. I mean, there's a flaw with this. I think you'd be able to hear like someone crunching on leaves with their feet, but I don't know. Maybe they have a sound cloaking technology.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point, I mean, that's just a cherry on top, how they do it. But the theory itself is that it's actually the government doing it. That's the important part. Thoughts on that?
I support the government and everything it stands for.
Oh my god. Fucking coward.
No, I will say that I find that really interesting because that was something I wanted to bring up too. Even though I love and support my government,
It's okay, girly. Like, Bush isn't listening anymore. You think he's like on our phone call?
they are okay. They always are. Because have you heard of what's it called? It's that psychic operation.
Oh, MK Ultra?
Yes, MK Ultra. What if they're just doing MK Ultra?
I mean, you think like I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what this theory says. Like, what if the government needs like, what the fuck's the word? Test subjects for something, and this is just the best way they could come up with getting them. Like, abduct them in the middle of the forest. I mean, yeah, maybe. However, I like the rebuttals to that I found in the subreddit thread because they're also good rebuttals. Like, okay, why hikers and not homeless people? That was one thing someone said, because apparently like during MK Ultra they would target like really like low income or sometimes homeless populations, because there would be people that they basically thought no one would miss, or like if they disappeared no one would notice. But in this case it's like, I mean, it does make sense, like it seems like they're almost going out of their way to be overly complicated, because it's kind of risky to do it with like people who aren't homeless or just children or people who are like on a maybe like a camping or hiking trip, because like their family probably knows they're there. They're gonna look for them. I don't know. It's complicated.
Well, what about this? What if the reason they want people who are hiking and not homeless people is because people who are hiking have good health if they're going for a hike, and they're probably like mentally stable if they can afford to drive all the way to Yellowstone from there like
Well,
3 hours.
here, let me throw a rock on that. Someone said, why choose the old and mentally ill? Because the majority of the cases involve either elderly people or mentally ill people. Also, why do they lose shoes? Great question. But then someone else said, yeah, but a lot of young military men on leave are taken as well. So that goes back to, I mean, young military men on leave are very fit. So literally, like, we're just going back and forth. Like,
Yeah, like none of it really makes sense.
like really, the problem is that actually, as it would turn out, all kinds of fucking people go missing in these national forest cases. So I love this theory, but it kind of like goes out the window unless the government is literally looking for the most, inclusive pool of people, which I guess, but like, just in general, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
there's too many holes.
I think what I'm liking is this idea, because you mentioned like, well, how are they like not making noise if they have an invisibility cloak or something?
Hmm.
So I have a theory on that. If it is someone, like a person abducting them, let's say for this case, just it is. What if they get like some tranquilizer darts, shoot them, like snipe them into them from a distance, and then they have like another person go grab them real fast? And here's my theory: it's like a weird cult commune who like feeds them and like, I don't know, maybe hypnotizes them or like convinces them not to say anything. But maybe the ones who don't return are the ones who want to stay with the cult.
Dang. I just like saw that in my head like a movie. That was great. Um, Interesting. Or the ones that stay not because they want to stay, but because they're chosen for some reason. And the ones that don't stay and are found, maybe it's because they weren't viable. And maybe the ones that are not found, I mean, but also maybe there's ones that are not found, but also didn't stay. Like, and maybe those are the ones that like their organs were harvested and they're just never found. I mean, I'm just adding to your fiction.
What about like cannibals? What if it's like a cannibal cult, and so that's why you never find a body, is because they eat them?
I just doubt that because some bodies are found. Some people are found legit just alive and they're just fine. So that seems improbable.
Right, but we're also having to realize that there's like a lot of missing people, so maybe not all of them are from.
I guess, but I mean, the whole point of these episodes to me is kind of like to try our hardest to find a unifying theory. Because, yeah, I could say, like, okay, well, I'm sure a percentage is like people who just legitimately go missing just because. There's nothing strange about that. People just get lost. Some's aliens, some is demons, some is like, yeah, but that's boring. Like we're
That
kind of.
escalated so quickly. Like, yeah, aliens and demons. That's just boring. I don't want it to be aliens and just demons. Like,
What
I
I'm
want it to be
sa-
mermaids too.
What I'm saying is like, I mean, in all likelihood, there probably isn't one completely unifying. Actually, no, bullshit. Like, I think that 90 something percent of these cases probably are one motherfucking thing. And I want to find that. Hell, like, I want to find
David
it.
Paulides wants to lick your neck right now.
Ew, what does that mean? Is that a compliment?
You can take it however you want to take it. That was David. This is his whole project, and you're saying, I believe you, David. So he loves it, I'm sure.
It's just, I mean, but that's the thing. He probably doesn't love me because I literally said at the beginning of this episode, I think Bigfoot is bullshit, and I'm pretty
Oh my
sure he's
God.
always like trying to hint at Bigfoot, the poor guy. So yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like there has to be something. Anyway, so that is the government conspiracy theory. Someone said that ugh. Okay, no. I'm gonna get into the theory in a second. That one's kind of a lot. Uh. Oh, going back to the aliens, I forgot to mention. Someone said that it could just be the Greys, just like just regular aliens, no strange aliens, no strange anything else, like just straight up Greys, like they've always abducted us. I completely disagree with this. Like the Greys, at least from all the, I don't know, 1 million testimonials that all sound the fucking same from like 70 years to now, they seem to have a method to how they do things, and it seems to be always the same, and it's like seldom one like with people around them. Like the child wouldn't be abducted with the mom is literally right there. And two, it's like almost like dramatic and like theatrical. Like you usually see lights either red or blue. They're very like bright. I mean, we've done aliens episodes. Like we've read this shit. Like you usually will literally see the alien. Like they won't try to hide from you. They will just like show themselves and then just take you. Like also like a lot of people like no people that have reappeared from missing 411 cases have remembered anything. Most, if not all, people who were abducted say that they basically like remember some things, even if they think the aliens try to erase their memories. It's like it didn't work, and a lot of people obviously remember a lot, like or through hypnosis they remember their experience in this spaceship. I just don't think this is it at all. I think this is a completely different field. I don't know, thoughts?
Aren't responsible for all of your problems, okay? They're not always probing you.
Yeah, they also don't sound particularly evil the way some of this shit sounds. Like I've told you about, the kids that are found like in weird crevices on the top of mountains where maybe they were a disabled kid and there's no way they could have gotten there in that small space that is so incredibly hard to get to. To climb to, for example, like, and like with their bodies all like fucked up, or some people are found dead, like dropped from, or like some people will be found like dead, but just recently dead, even though they became lost 6 months ago, but like they recently had food in their stomachs. Like it's almost like someone decided to just like off them, and that's fucked up. After keeping them alive for so long, they were just like, you're not viable for whatever, and now you're dead. Like I've never heard of aliens actually killing anyone ever. Have you? Yeah, like I mean, aliens. Again, I think they're just future us. I think in the future we just become really creepy. Sexual assault laws go out the window, and we just like love probing people without their consent, and we just kind of creeps. But we're not murderers. So there's that.
Are
Um,
future us all just descendants of every Hollywood professional ever?
yeah, literally. um, Harvey Weinstein is shaking. He's got nothing on aliens. Are you kidding me?
Maybe he's from the future.
Oh my god. Okay,
We
last
hate
thing.
him. We do not
Last thing.
stand.
Yeah, that needed to be a disclaimer. So, okay, last thing is this person mentioned, and I had no idea what this was at all. About a YouTube channel called Fantastic Daily. I actually checked the YouTube channel, and it doesn't exist anymore. This person created a new YouTube channel because I guess someone found their identity, but even that new YouTube channel now has no content. All its videos are either deleted or private from what I can see. But at least a couple months ago when this thread was posted, Fantastic Daily, this YouTube channel, still was up and had a lot of videos, and it was about this guy who claimed to have worked in a top secret government facility, and he couldn't in good conscience like keep secrets from the public any longer, and so his videos were dedicated to like him explaining a lot of things, and apparently he would talk a lot about missing 411, and I just fucking wish that these videos were still up, honestly. So just so I could see it for myself. I mean, maybe this is all bullshit. This guy probably, but I mean, I would have just liked to have seen them for myself. But he mentions that. Okay, so this guy says that Fantastic Daily in his YouTube channel would talk about how he knew that there was a deal with these creatures, being aliens, interdimensional beings, multiple things. So not one, multiple things, to allow them to take us for prey and or research or whatever they like, and the government actively encouraging people to go into national forest areas because they have this deal with all these creatures.
It's not about being fit and healthy, guys. The government wants to sell you to otherworldly beings.
The government is just like using us as bait. I mean, listen, if I tweak this theory a little in my head, I actually like it. Like, I wouldn't say it's multiple, I'd say it's one thing. Some interdimensional beings. I would say that in order to make this viable for my head, I'd say that the deal is with interdimensional beings, and the government knows that these interdimensional beings would do damage to the whole country if they don't get, I don't know, what they want, human sacrifice, whatever it is that they use people for, and so the government like lets them take us, basically, and they actively don't do anything about it, instead of the other theory that I mentioned the other episode, which was that they don't know what to do. It's more that they decide not to do anything because they can't, because they're powerless when compared to these beings. Who knows? um and Fantastic Daily apparently said to look out for an uptick in ads for national parks. So keep an eye out, Shannon.
Just like adjacent to that, like maybe it is just like sacrifice to the gods. You know what I'm saying?
It could be. I don't know. Like, my brain's gonna explode because there's so much. You go. That's what I have. So that's what I have.
Well, I'm gonna like mix it up a little bit because like we heard Andre rant about what it could be, and we had some fun with that. We argued about it, and now I'm gonna bring it back down to boring. I just have two more cases that I looked into that I was curious about and thought that we could discuss. Some of them aren't that different, but I chose them for a reason. And I think we'll have a good conversation about them, even though, like, at the end of the day, like, this is just, like, to remind you what we're talking about when we say, like, people are going missing. So here's some of the people, and here's what happened. And I chose this first case because, obviously, it has a weird devil-y spin on it. And, we're all about that red pitchfork, that, full bodysuit,
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here for. So... Missing 411. We are going to talk about the missing man, Maurice Demetz, and he still has not been found. So, in 1981, Maurice Demetz, I don't know if that's how you say it, Demetz? Demetz?
Maurice, damn it.
Maurice, damn it! Poor Maurice, where'd you go? He was 84 years old.
Oh my god. Okay, well, we're not finding him anymore.
You don't know. Maybe Bigfoot was feeding him healthy grains and taking him for long walks.
When did you say he went missing?
He went missing in 1981.
Listen. One, just no. Two, pretty sure the oldest person ever is like 118 years old, so he's good. Like, no, he's gone.
Well, we could at least find a body or something,
Okay.
So... Maurice went topaz hunting with his friend David McSweeney. And damn it, Maurice. I'm just calling him Maurice. Let's call him Maurice. Maurice had a PhD in theology, and in the 70s, he had published a few things that indicated that the Antichrist would be coming. He wrote that the devil would appear as a political, religious, commercial autocrat of the world. And honestly, like, isn't that what everyone's been saying, like, forever? Like, anytime there's a new president, they're like, it's the devil. And, like, yeah, sometimes you're right. Like, yeah, let's just say that. But I can't confirm or deny who the Antichrist is because I don't know.
Because you're the Antichrist.
Because I am the Antichrist. Surprise. Wow. Please don't play that at my funeral.
Oh my god. I'm gonna, like, play that sound bit. Okay.
Unless you remix it, then you can play it at the funeral.
I am the Antichrist.
Amazing. Okay, so he and his friends McSweeney, they drove to the Pike National Forest in Colorado, and once they were there, they drove 16 miles down a dirt road, and they went to a place called Topaz Point because, as you know, they were topaz hunting. They liked some good rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And Native Americans actually believed this particular spot was haunted by evil spirits, of course.
Okay.
And early settlers called it the Devil's Head. So it was already kind of interesting that we have a guy who goes missing who is pretty smart, like the last guy I'd spoken about. And he's like on the higher edge of the spectrum of like the age group of people who go missing, because like it is just like a crazy, like, so many people of different ages and backgrounds go missing, but this guy's 84, PhD, believes the devil's gonna come for you. Maybe the devil came for him. Mm-hmm. We don't know.
Ooh, you said this was gonna be boring, but if you're gonna go like it's actually the devil, I'm ready.
I could go in that direction. I didn't really have a plan. I was just gonna tell this
I'm
story.
just gonna steer you there at some point because that intrigues me. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, we can talk about that. So Maurice is 84 and he has bad knees, which I mean, I actually read something recently on like how people who walk um, can have like bad knees from walking. People who sit too much can have bad knees from sitting too much, and people who run or jog can have bad knees from running and jogging. And people were like, I think the issue is that the human knee is not meant to support someone. So when you're 80 and you have bad knees, don't be surprised. It's just the way we're built. Um, so Maurice needed his friend McSweeney to help him down a small hill because he is just like struggling, you know. So he wanted to get to a sandy spot to dig in the forest. And so they were kind of just working by themselves, you know, maybe like chatting a little bit. But when they wanted to leave, finally, McSweeney walked over to him and he's like, hey, like, let's get ready to go. I'll get my stuff together, 10 minutes. And so he was only 150 yards away. There is this small distance. And I guess, like, in a forest, maybe that, you know, can be, like, clouded a little bit in terms of vision. I'm not sure, but I mean, 150 yards is kind of far. But anyway, he has bad knees, so it's not like he could have, like, ran away.
Mm-hmm.
So in 10 minutes, McSweeney returned, and Maurice was nowhere to be found. And he was just like, what the heck? Like, he couldn't have gotten that far.
Yeah.
He honked the horn, he called for him, he searched, he flagged down a nearby car and asked them to like find the police. And the search party searched for 5 days, but they like never found any trace of him at all. They ended up closing the case, and Damit's wife, he sent a letter, or she sent a letter to the governor of Colorado to reopen the case. She never received a reply. But
Oh.
then after Paul Ides created a mini documentary about the case, kind of for Missing 411, documenting similar disappearances in Devil's Head, the police actually reopened the case 30 years after he had disappeared. And,
Good fucking luck, dude.
right, and that's interesting to me. It's like, I mean, I guess if you want anything done, you gotta go with the media. I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
to make of
yeah.
that.
I mean, I kind of have to agree, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of cases that have come to public attention and gotten the attention they deserve only because someone went to the media about it.
Yeah, you gotta like force people to pay attention sometimes, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. So that's basically the case of Maurice, but I guess we can talk about the devil. Like let's say for instance the devil is sending his demons out here to pick up elderly men.
I
I
mean,
guess my first question is why.
it's not just elderly men though. Like, no, 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 no. I meant like, let's take the devil as like the unifying theory. Let's say, right? Like we're taking the portals. Let's say it's actually the devil. Why and how? Okay, let's think. Maybe maybe it's kind of like the government one. Maybe the devil like needs people for like tests. I don't know, like test runs of something like the new hell 2.0. I don't know. He wants to see if people suffer enough, and so he's like doing trial runs. Um, and so I mean, he definitely have the ability to be invisible and snatch it without anyone hearing you for sure. I mean, he
That's
has to.
yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
Um Actually, why don't
literally,
we take it
literally
what?
like drag you downwards just immediately. Like that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why don't we take it back to how the Native Americans claimed it was haunted by evil spirits? Because what if it is, you know? What if all of this is just ghosts or evil spirits saying, fuck you, white people, for taking our land? We're gonna take some of you too.
I mean, I like that, but it's like with the aliens. I feel like ghosts are very ceremonial and theatrical, uh, and they almost present themselves at least a couple times, even if just to spook you before they actually do anything to you.
Hmm.
But let's say they don't, fine. There's still the problem of like ghosts don't have a physical force or like format, and so I don't know if they could literally take you somewhere. It's just kind of a lot.
Yeah, and I guess they wouldn't really have any use for your shoes. Um, what if there's just like a shopaholic in the woods and she just likes people's shoes and she collects them?
And when they get like when they don't want to give them up, she just kills them.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
I am having this thought though that I think might have been spurred on by like a comment on Reddit or something, but like because there are situations like the one I talked about last episode where that guy had no memory of what had happened and he was gone for a year and a half. And then we're talking about Maurice, who is like old, but he like has a PhD and stuff. Like he's still like out there digging rocks. Like he's not letting things stop him.
mhm.
Like, and yet he like disappears. So like you would think, well, maybe he like had a moment of like amnesia or craziness and wandered off or something. What if there is something in trees, and I'm talking about like the movie The Happening. What if there's something in trees and being in the forest that like it like actually has like a supernatural power over you and like purposefully like messes with your internal like sense of self and it just seeks out to like kill you.
I mean, but what about the people who survive for a long time and die
Um
only days before they're found? Or what about the people that survive completely? Like, did they get
maybe
in that
the
trance and somehow got out of it months later? Like, and during the trance, also they were able to feed themselves?
maybe the forest helps to take care of them as long as they're good to the forest. It's just like a big hippie love
I feel
circle.
like you're like adjudicating nature way too much, like human intelligence. I don't think nature. I mean, nature is really intelligent, but not in that way. Like, I feel like that's not it.
What about
Uh,
witches? Just kidding. All
Honestly,
right.
get into it. Listen, bitch. Witches like live in like at least according to fairy tales, right? Like fucking cabins in the woods. So the woods part
Yeah.
makes sense already, and
All
I'm
right.
sure
So
they can
let's
make
see.
people disappear.
What about we talk about Hansel and Gretel? Because Hansel and Gretel got fed quite a bit when they were taken.
There you go. Maybe the people that are found, fed months later just fine, escaped, but they were gonna be eaten.
Yeah, and maybe it was just traumatizing so they don't remember it, or the witch cast a spell that they wouldn't remember it so that no one would be able to find her location and that she could live forever in her little cabin.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah, it's
Wow, I mean,
possible.
we're really touching upon anything we can, you,
Yeah.
yeah, we can get our heads on. Um, no, I mean, I have nothing else. Like, it literally couldn't be, like, I mean, it's too much. Did you have another case that you wanted to touch on?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Alright, so this is Dennis Martin, and this is a little bit sad. He was a child. This was in 1962, though, so this was a while. Um, I mean, not that that makes it any less sad that he was a child, it's just, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, this happened in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. And honestly, like, what I'm getting out of this is that there's a lot of national parks that I haven't been to and should probably visit because, like, why not? You know what I mean? You gotta hike, gotta get that exercise, not for any sacrifices or anything. Support your local government. Um, so he was age 6, and this is 19, or sorry, he was born in 1962, so it would have been 1968.
Okay.
So the search effort was supposedly the most extensive in the park's history, involving approximately 1,400 searchers within a 56 square mile area. So Dennis, he is a resident of Knoxville, Tennessee, and he went with his father, grandfather, and older brother to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park on Father's Day, the weekend of 1969. Wow, I'm really getting these dates wrong. 1969. So, didn't something else important happen? Like, didn't we like launch a rocket to the moon in
No, I
1969?
think that was 1960. No, I think you're right. I think it was 69. Well, we definitely invented the term 69 that year, so that's eventful. That's how that happened. It's the real story.
Oh my god, thank you. Thanks for that. I need your input, yeah. Um, so the family hiked from Cades Cove to Russell Field, and let me tell you something. Just saying that means literally nothing to me. I don't know how far these things are apart because I didn't do enough research to find out for you. I'm assuming they were all fine because they were fine. So the next day, they hiked somewhere else, and they were going to spend the night near something called the Appalachian Trail. So the Appalachian Mountains probably were close to that, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And on June 14th, he was playing hide and seek with his brother and some other children from a separate family that they happened to come by who were probably camping or hiking in the same area. And the boys thought it would be funny to like hide and like jump out and scare like the adults or whatever. But when everyone came out, they just didn't see him. He just wasn't anywhere. And
Hmm.
so his father like looked for him and he was really concerned. And so his father like booked it down the trail for like 2 miles. And he's like, there's no way this like 6-year-old kid could have gone more than 2 miles. And I guess, like they are small. It's probably hard to see them. And I don't know how like audio carries in a forest, with different
Hmm.
altitudes and all that. So maybe he couldn't hear them calling out, or maybe he kept moving, even though you're not supposed to keep moving if you're lost. You're supposed to stay in one spot. But a 6-year-old's not gonna know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just like not really any clue what could have happened to him at that point. So the area where he disappeared, it had a lot of steep slopes and ravines. So people kind of think that maybe he just fell down and like hit his head. Um, Wild animals like bobcats and hogs and bears inhabit the area. And then a downpour of rain broke out shortly after his disappearance, dropping 3 inches of rain in the sum of just a few hours. And it washed out the trails and caused some flooding. And then it dropped down to 50 degrees that night. And so people just kind of assume, like, okay, maybe he died in the cold and the rain, or maybe something like ate him or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You never know, though. Bobcats, like, you never know. So, one of the park rangers that was searching, this is Dwight McCarter. He had tracked down hundreds of missing people, including young children. So Dwight is kind of like the sheriff of the national parks. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
he comes in there and he gets shit done. So Dwight McCarter, he found some child-sized footprints that led to a stream. But they stopped at the stream. They disappeared there. They
Hmm.
indicated that one foot was barefoot, while the other was in an Oxford type shoe, which is the type of shoe that Martin was wearing. And
Dude,
so
what is
he
it with the fucking shoes? God damn it! Like, whatever is taking these people on for. It's just a foot fetish. I'm telling you. It's not. It's not ritualistic. They just have a foot fetish.
maybe it's a cult that worships feet. Maybe the
That's
people who are
that is
returned have
some
bunions.
that is somehow worse. Is this cult led by Dan Schneider?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you have heard what I'm talking about.
I just don't like it.
Okay, that's fair. That's funny.
Ew. Okay, have you. Never mind.
No, 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 no. Go, no, go on, go on. Now I want to hear it. Now I want to hear it. Have I
Have
what?
you ever seen Mr. Deeds?
Mr. Beats?
Mr. Deeds
No, no,
with
I
Adam
haven't.
Sandler?
No, no, I haven't. But I know what it is. I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. Well, in that movie, the butler has like this crazy foot fetish.
Uh
And
huh.
like whenever people bring up foot fetishes, I always think about like the last scene with him is just like him like massaging this woman's foot and like smelling it. It's like really weird.
When people bring up foot fetishes now, like nothing against foot fetishes, but like really weird foot fetishes, I think of Dan Schneider just because like he's such a creep. Like so many people didn't know that for a long time. For those of you who don't know, Dan Schneider is the creator of Drake and Josh and iCarly and Victorious. And if you watch those shows closely, there are so many foot jokes, like more than there should be in a kids show. And basically, the guy like loved like looking at feet and doing other things with feet. I'm guessing it becomes problematic though when you realize that he was working with like teens at the time.
Oh no.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
tea on that. Um, Go ahead.
I love how Miranda Cosgrove makes it into like all the
I
episodes.
know what an icon.
So here's the thing. They also found a shoe and a sock. I don't know where they found it, but they found it. And so Dwight definitely kind of believes that the prints that he found leading to the stream belonged to Martin because they did have some Boy Scouts looking around, but none of them were barefoot. So he was like, okay, this had to be the kid. Um, okay, so they continued to search thousands of people until June 26th. So that's disappeared on like the 14th. That's like 12 days. Um, and then they officially ended it on June 29th after the last search, which I don't think is unreasonable. It's like he was really little. It's like I don't know if he would have been able to find food for himself It is really sad though. Like it's like you don't really want to give up, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Can you
So,
imagine? Can you imagine if like the government conspiracy theory was right, and this guy that spent thousands of hours looking for this kid, like one day found out that like his government overlords were actually hiding the truth from him this whole time, and they knew exactly where the kid was. That'd be
oh,
so fucked up.
that'd be so sad. That'd be horrible.
Ugh. Anyway.
Okay, so on the afternoon that Martin disappeared, this is where it gets weird. Um, so a family that was nearby, his name, the dad was Harold Key, they heard an enormous scream, and then after that scream, they witnessed a man covered in hair, seemingly hiding and carrying something on his shoulder. And they said that it looked like something red, like something, the thing that was slumped over his shoulder had like a red color. And Martin was wearing a red shirt the day he disappeared. And this happened, I think, 5 miles away from where Martin disappeared. But the park rangers and the FBI basically said like there's not enough evidence to like say that this sighting was related to Martin's disappearance, and so that was just the end of that. But
Hmm. Kind of
it could be
disappointing.
Bigfoot.
I mean, yeah, it could be. Like, maybe not for all of it, but maybe it is real, and maybe it could have been for this case, and so it's disappointing that if it was, that the authorities kind of just, like, discarded it because
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, it's not realistic, or I mean, they say it's because it wasn't related or it didn't seem like, but we know it's not because of that. It's because they don't believe in paranormal shit. And honestly, I feel like not just in missing 411 cases, but in so many cases of so many things in general, there are probably so many things that go unsolved because authorities refuse to believe anything that is paranormal. Like in like partially you can't really blame them because they're merely, like employees for a system that insists that there has to be a real life explanation for something. But at the same time, like, if you're an officer and you like are following your intuition and it's really telling you that there's something here beyond what you can see, maybe go with that. Like, at the end of the day, your job is to, like, especially if you're a detective, for example, to try to figure out what happened, regardless of how unorthodox your ways are. Like, that should matter to you the least. um,
Wow, I have like such chills on my arms and my back just thinking about how this is basically the X-Files and you're talking about Mulder's whole like mission in life. Oh, wow. What a storyline.
anyway.
Yeah, it's hard because like also it's like you can't prosecute a ghost for murder, just like you can't really prosecute Bigfoot for kidnapping. Like he doesn't have a social security number and like what are you gonna do? Toss him in the jail with like a bunch of
No,
like
but like prosecution isn't the only solution. Like, I mean, yeah, that's true, and so maybe like that one victim is like fucked, he'll never get justice. But like, if we choose to believe that those things are real after we see like a victim from it, then maybe that makes it so that we never have to have any other victims. If all of a sudden we believe that Bigfoot is real and that he's a danger to people because this kid was a victim and like he died because of it, maybe all of a sudden like people are like, you know what, Bigfoot is real, and there's so much like effort behind the idea that we actually, if he's actually bad and dangerous, we actually finally like hunt it down and he never kills anyone again. Like there is merit to what I'm saying, even if like a ghost can be prosecuted, for example. For sure, there's definitely merit. Like, for example, let's say that ghosts are killing people. Like, yeah, you can prosecute a ghost, but if you make people aware that ghosts are real and all of a sudden everyone believes that, people will stop doing stupid shit like visiting haunted homes or fucking, you know what I mean? Like, and no, like there will be way less victims. Like, I mean, yes, absolutely, but also at least now people would have the information to be able to decide. Because I know that you think that they do now, but they don't really. People, when they go to haunted houses, they, I honestly think they go expecting nothing to happen deep down, but like maybe some little scary thing to happen that isn't very eventful, just so they can record it and tell the story that, oh, I saw something, I was in a haunted house. But like deep down, I would think that people are like me, like they don't actually want to be traumatized, like, you know what I mean? So I don't think people actually believe in ghosts, even the ones that say that they're gonna go to a haunted house to see what happens. I really don't. I think they go because they want to be entertained. Because really believing in ghosts is beyond just like a funny like realization. It's probably like really earth shattering if you're someone who's very skeptical. So yeah.
Wait, I want to go back to something else. I think I may have just not like heard you correctly, but did you say that we should kill Bigfoots?
I mean, if it turns out they're actually bad and like murderous.
Okay. I mean, then we have to deal with Bigfoot animal rights activists.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing. Yeah, like if they're just killing people the way any other wild animal kills people, then yeah, we can't kill them because they're like, they're like a lion, for example. Um, but if they seem to have like intent or human intelligence, that'd be different. But I honestly doubt they do. They're basically a big like gorilla, an even bigger one. But what I said still stands. Like with the ghost, like okay, so if we can't do anything to the actual thing, either because it's unethical, because it's just a wild animal, or because it's a ghost and we can prosecute it, awareness of the fact that it's real and spreading that as fact to the whole world would probably help a lot of people not be fucking stupid and approach those spots and get killed. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess, I guess I feel like we can end it now because everyone knows not to get killed. Also, it's my bedtime, but I mean, it's almost my bedtime. Um,
Shannon's a grandma, everyone.
it's true, I really am. But I think we had some fun tonight. I think that we poked the bear.
I mean, we still definitely haven't come to a conclusion, but I'll say, I'm loving the portals idea. I think I'll just have to stick with that for the rest of my life, unless there is like a part 3 to this way in the future. Just because, like I like it, but we really have run out of theories, and it's just, boy, but it's so hard to decide. You know what I mean? But
Well,
anyway.
my favorite theory is that it's a cult with a foot fetish. So.
I like that one too. Thank you. Everyone, if you like this episode, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. I'm sure you can do that as well, or Google Play, as a matter of fact. And give us a listen. We're on all podcast listening platforms. We're on Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, our High Radio. And yeah, Shannon, anything else?
Don't go into the woods and don't exercise. Both are traps, apparently.
Yeah, I guess they're like the only way to stay home is just to be sedentary on your couch forever, which I mean, we all
You're gonna
already do
get
that.
bad knees anyway.
Yeah, like nothing, literally nothing matters. Just sit down and fucking relax. If any of you have any topic suggestions for our next episode, do tweet us at Talk Scary. You can also find us on Facebook at Scary Talk. And that's it. The Mothman is real, everyone. Bigfoot is a real question mark, and we love you. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye bye.